Welcome to episode number 21 of From the Bunker podcast. Guys, as always, appreciate all the support. Big shout out to Swing City and John for having us out last week and coming on the pod and, talking about his journey. Swing City itself, we'll definitely be having him back on for his full story in the future. This week, we've got a banger for you, and we've got a couple in the chute. I'm going to be down and out for a few days, maybe a week or two here, having some procedures done. But we've got some bangers coming out, starting with the one today. We've got none other than the Rev Mac on the podcast today. You've seen him on Instagram, you've seen him on Sunday golf ads. Rev Mac coming up soon. But first, I want to tell you this episode's brought to you by none other than Ford Golf Apparel. You see the hat, you see the polo. I got the birdie on. We're talking about doing an eagle. So big bird, little bird. But this comes in 3 different colors. This hat, I'm going to be doing some giveaways on this hat, but make sure you check them out. We're actually going to be having the owner of Ford Golf on the podcast next week, so be looking forward to that. In the meantime, head over to FordGolfApparel.com. Use code FTB80, get 15% off. Right now, if you spend $50, you get a free mystery hat thrown in your box with code FTB80 plus the 15% off. You spend $75, not only do you get the free hat and the 15% off, you get free shipping on top of it. So head over there, get you about $76 worth of shit in the cart, get a free hat, free shipping, 15% off, and gear up for the 2026 season. Guys, this is top tier, top quality stuff. I've washed this shirt 50 times, collar still intact, everything still looks great. The quality of this, we'd put it up against anybody. The quality of these hats put up against anybody. Go check them out, FordGolfApparel.com, and big shout out to Ford Golf Apparel for all they do for me and the podcast. Well, it's been a week of golf. Let me tell you, it's been incredible. Yesterday, I went up to Shady Hollow in Cub Run, Kentucky. Talk about a hidden gem. Watch my socials closely because I'm going to be doing a new series where I review public golf courses, okay? And we're starting with Shady Hollow. So be ready for that. Check that out. Incredible hidden gem that gets no pressure. If y'all are anywhere within, I would say 4 or 5 hours, man, it's worth the drive. The views are incredible. Island green, just a unbelievable place, and they really appreciate the business. So big shout out to Shady Hollow. In the professional side of golf this week, a storyline if we can. Again, somebody that's in the lead shoots like shit on the final day and just absolutely blows it. And this time it was a local guy, Brent Snedeker. Brent Snedeker leading -10, shoots like +4 or +6 on the final day, finishes like 12th. Matt Fitzpatrick comes through and gets a win, well-deserved. He's been right on the bubble, breaks through, gets the win at the Valspar. Great event. Awesome event to see. Hate to see that Sneds fell apart on the last day, but incredibly happy for Fitzy. He gets a win on the 2026 season early. Contender for the Masters, I do believe. And we're getting close, guys. We're getting real close. We're like 3-4 weeks away from the Masters, so we're getting there. Bryson DeChambeau is putting on performances over at Live. I mean, just absolutely unbelievable what he's doing right now. 2 wins in a row. Beats John Rahm in a playoff. I know you've seen it. The shot out of the rough, muddy rough at that, to win the playoff, 300-yard 3-wood out of the rough, put it to 10 feet or less. I mean, just absolutely incredible. I just wish that, it didn't come on at 3, 4 in the morning. Like, wish that they would record it and put it out later. But hats off to the Crushers. Hats off to Bryson DeChambeau. He is absolutely wrecking the world right now. TGL news. Tiger made an appearance. Tiger comes out the tunnel, played well. Jupiter fashion. They get out to a lead. They're up 2-0, and they absolutely fall apart and lose 9-2. They had lost the first match as well, so they wind up losing in the championship series in LA Golf. That's Justin Rose. that is Tommy Fleetwood. Those are the two top guys that are on that team. Congratulations to them for taking home the TGL championship this week. Guys, big shout out to Swing City. Listen, if you're around the Bowling Green area at all and you take your game serious, you've got to go check out Swing City Golf up in Bowling Green on Broadway. Trackman technology, full bar, great food. Okay, John was on last week. You got to know him a little bit. Go see him. They're awesome people. They appreciate the business. They'll treat you great. Like I said, great food. You've seen some of my Feed Josh episodes where I'll review the food, and I'm not bullshitting. It's wonderful. Go check out Swing City Golf. Let them know that From the Bunker sent you. Guys, like I said, this week's an absolute banger. We got Rev Mac on. He's a content creator. He works for Sunday Golf. He is a dad. We get emotional in this episode. We have a great laugh in this episode. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. Everything you want. Make sure you check out all of his socials down in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Here's Rev Mac. Welcome to From the Bunker podcast. Today, guys, we have a unique one in the bunker, a man who is ordained by the internet, goes by Rev Mac, short for Reverend Joshua McQueen. From Detroit, Texas upbringing, now living in California and enjoying life, a husband, a dad, golfer, content creator, and currently a CX marketing associate over at Sunday Golf. Go check them out. He's worked everything from mini golf to FedEx carrier and somehow turned that into a golf content journey with personality. Let's get into it. Rev Mac is in the bunker. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Hey, dude, man. Appreciate you having me. This is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to this. Always enjoy doing, different podcasts and stuff. So thank you for taking the time out of your day and your Sunday evening to accommodate my schedule, man. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you hopping on. Let's get right into it. Rev Mac, I've got to start right here. How did you become an ordained minister through the internet?
So my wife and I, when we first started dating, we moved to the Bay Area to San Francisco. We were living in San Jose, and she texted me one day, and we didn't even have any conversations about it. She just texted me, and she goes, "Oh, by the way, I ordained you on the internet so you could marry, a couple of our friends." And I was like, "Oh, so what does this mean?" She goes, "I don't know yet, but you just need to pick if you want to be a reverend, a rabbi, or a pastor." And I said, "Let's just go with the reverend." So I started, like, 2 months later, I had my first wedding that we did, and like 3 months later, another couple asked if I would be interested in doing it, and it just kind of stuck. Since then, yeah, it's cool. I have about I think like 4 or 5. We do it for family or friends. Weddings are just so expensive. Anytime you throw the word wedding around, they just automatically jack up the price. So my only
Absolutely.
request is, if you ask me to do your wedding, my wife gets to come as well, and we get to eat and drink for free. That's all I ask. I don't want to pay anything.
Yeah, whenever I get married now, I'm calling you. I'm flying you from San Diego to Nashville. We'll make sure you eat and drink plenty, and we're gonna have a damn good time. So we're gonna get you on the books for that.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely super cool. I love that whole story. I actually knew that story from I believe you posted a video about that or
Yeah.
a text thing about it, but I had read that or seen it, and very cool story. So far, with the weddings that you've done, what's the wildest wedding that you've officiated so far?
It's gonna have to be it's actually a close tie between one of the guys in my fantasy football group and two bartenders that I used to manage a restaurant, and my two bartenders started dating, and then like 6 years later they got married. So I'm actually gonna go with that one because it was a wedding full of hospitality and service industry people, and it was just a good time. I mean, yeah, it got pretty rowdy. The dance floor got cut up. My shirts came off. I think my pants came off, and it was a damn good time. Yeah, I have this thing. I'm kind of known for taking my shirts off at weddings. My cousin started it a long time ago, and I've kind of it's evolved from then. So like when I'm getting pretty tuned up at a wedding, yeah, the shirt's coming off at sooner or later.
I love that. You're like that, what's his name? Bert Crasher or something like that, the comedian that
People
takes
say
his
all the time, Bert Kreischer. They're like, "You're like Bert Kreischer," and I was like, "I wish I was as funny as Bert Kreischer. I really do. That guy's hilarious."
he's awesome. Does the being Rev, does that ever come up on the golf course? Like when you're out playing with people, anybody ever ask you about this?
A little bit, yeah. Now, especially here in San Diego, everybody it's funny because it's gotten to the point now, it's like, okay, am I going by Rev or I'm going by Josh? But now everybody is Rev, and pretty much a lot of people know what it's about. But we'll get some random guys out on the golf course, like, your name's Rev? Like, short for what? I was like, oh, that's my real name is Josh, but it's short for Reverend, and then I give them the whole spiel. So I would probably say like one out of every 3 rounds that conversation comes up. And I think it's a great story. I like it. They're like, "That's actually a pretty cool name. It's a cool nickname." So I'm
Yeah,
like,
it
"Yeah, it's
really
cool."
is. Let's talk about your background a little bit. So you had told me that, you've kind of lived a couple lives. You've lived in Detroit, then you went to Texas, then you went to California. I mean, what shaped Rev Mac most, would you
Yeah,
say?
so I was born in Detroit, right? So I was born in Detroit. Um my parents divorced when I was like 3 or 4, and so we moved to Texas when I think I was like 4 years old in '89, so yeah, I was 4 years old, and then I grew up in Texas my whole life, school there, high school there, college there, and then when I finished school, I was like, I kinda wanna just get out and try something different, just kind of wanted to see what else the world had to offer. My brother was out here in San Diego, I had some cousins, so I was like, "Let's just go out there and see what it's all about," and, yeah, moved to San Diego and have not looked back since then.
That's awesome. Which one of those stops? I mean, I guess Detroit's a hard one to count, but out of those stops, what would you say would be your favorite so far? Is it San Diego?
San Diego is great. I met my wife here. We bought a house here, but I had a really good upbringing in Texas. It taught a lot of like my core values and who I am as a person and how I want to raise my son. But I had my most challenging moments here in San Diego as a person that kind of molded me as to be a better person. So it's really hard to say. Like I had a lot really good upbringing as far as like doing the right thing. But then Diego, I had a lot of, tough things happen to me that kind of, character defining moments that, okay, it's time to figure it out and do things the right way. So yeah, it's hard to answer that question, but San Diego I love. It's a hard city to hate. We have great weather. Most of the time it does get a little bit warm. We have year-round golf, and it's just it's laid back. The vibe all around the city is just pretty come as you are, pretty mellow, just a big vibe city.
Love that. Love that. Let's talk about golf a little bit. When did golf first enter your life?
So golf first entered my life. I was probably a freshman or sophomore in high school. I took an interest to it, but I couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford it. I grew up with a single mom that worked 2 or 3 jobs sometimes. So anything like that was just out of the question unless I could provide for it myself. And then I was involved with baseball and football and then had to work. So like it really wasn't something that you could do because we all know how expensive, golf is already. And then when you have other stuff, golf just wasn't a priority. But I would spend some of my summers with my cousins, and they lived at a gated community, on a country club. So I would go out in the evening times with my cousins and my uncles, and they would take the time and like show me how to play, do things like golf etiquette. And they did it in a really cool way that was not like you would get from most country club people. They were super laid back, would take the time to explain golf the right way, show me things. So I think that is one of the things that got me into it and just, having access to it. So then when I was able to get my own stuff is when I really got into golf. And then went to college and was like, "You know what? I'm going to get in the golf business. I'm gonna do what I can." So I got a job at a Muni. It was the Bryan Muni in Bryan, Texas, which is pretty close to Texas A&M, and did that. And that's when I realized that, I'm gonna move to California and go to the golf academy. Moved out here, was gonna start the golf academy, and life stuff happens, didn't happen, and went a different directions. Yeah, I think I've been playing now since is it 2022? 2002, so 23 years. Yeah.
Dang, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You worked at a municipal golf course in
Yes.
college. What did
Yep.
that teach you about people and the game of golf?
Man, honestly, working at that muni was probably like one of the funner jobs, the more however you want to say it, jobs that I've had. It was, I was in. So this was my setup. I'll tell you my setup. So I would go to school Monday through Thursday. My classes would be staggered. So my schedule at the golf course would be whatever would be like opposite of my classes. So say if I had classes in the morning, then that afternoon I would go and work at the golf course or vice versa. But in the evening times, I also help do promotions for Miller Lite. So we would go out, take the Miller girls out and just give out free beer. And we would do that starting on Tuesdays and to Sundays, right? So it was nonstop. So I had a really good setup as far as access to golf all the time. And then we would go out and drink. So the golf aspect of it, the muni was cool because there would be times where like we wouldn't have class. So I would go out and play 36 or 54 holes a day. People were like, how did you play that much golf in Texas with it being so hot? It's like, well, you're kind of used to it,
Yep.
it's hot, it sucks, right? But when you're living there, you grew up in it, it's just like kind of what it is. You put up it, you take an extra shirt or an extra pair of shorts and you put powder on your balls and just get through it, right? But yeah, it was being able to do that, working with people, understanding we had membership, but we were muni, right? So that's when I first started to realize that guys that if they belong to a golf course are going to feel a sense of entitlement, whether it be a country
Oh, yeah.
club or a municipal golf course. And most of the people that were the most entitled were the senior group. But they were also my favorite group to go out and play with on Wednesday mornings because they give the best shit talk and the best banter. And then they'll also be like full of wisdom. And you're like, you leave that and you'll not only have a good laugh, but you'll just be like, I just learned a life lesson. So, but it would always be the same thing about like the greens or the pin placement, just little annoyances, but we would just chalk it up to like it's what their wives that they've done for like 50 years and now they're giving it to us. So it was cool though. But yeah, that golf course, it's not there anymore. There's like it's a similar to like a Top Golf, but it's not a Top Golf. I forget the name of it or what they're called, but the Muni closed down shortly after I left, and I was like, man, what an end of an era. That place, we had a lot of fun stuff that happened there and took place there. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. Were you instantly hooked on golf when you first started learning it with your cousins or
100%. Yeah.
okay.
It was a combination of, um, I think like every golfer, you struggle for the first 4, 5, 6 year or 2, you never know, and then you hit that good shot and you're like, "Holy shit, I can do this." You stick a par 3 or you're on and 2 on a par 5. It's like you stripe one or you peer one, and it's like that when that happens, you're like, "Okay, I'm hooked." I've gotten big by the golf bug, and that was one of the moments we were actually at it was outside of Houston, this lit up par 3 course. We were playing night. It was my cousins and my uncle, he played on a lot of pro-ams back in the day. Both of my cousins played on the Hooters tour and the Nikes tour. Like they're sticks, right? Like they're scratch plus 2. So like I'm out there hacking with them, but they were always patient, like they were always just, man, it's fine. Just you keep advancing the ball, that's good. And then it was like one of the only par 4s on that par 3, and it was at night, and, I was in the woods, but I had, like, an opening to the green. It was probably, like, at the time, 180 out. I was like, "Oh, I got a window." They're like, "No, just punch out and, then go from there." And I was like, "No," and they're like, "Dude, you suck. Like, just punch out," and then I was like, "No," and, I remember I took the shot and I hit the window and it hit the green and it was like 3 feet from the pin, and they were all just like, "Holy shit." And that was a shot that I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna really give this." And it could have been luck, right? It could have been luck, but that was when I was like, "This is where I'm no longer just like gonna goof around with golf. I'm gonna apply myself and go and actually like work on it."
I love that. Love that, dude. Yeah, it's always that one shot that keeps us coming back, and I'm the same way. I've actually only been playing golf for less than 2 years.
What got you
So,
into golf?
man, honestly, just my buddies begging me to go play.
Yeah.
I went to the course with my dad a little bit as a kid. Every now and then, he worked a lot. He liked to play golf on the weekends, so every now and then I would go. I had a little set of Jack Nicklaus clubs, and
Some
I would
golden bears?
oh, yeah, and I would play, like,
Yeah.
1 hole and then be like, "Screw this," and just drive the golf cart. I could
Yeah.
care a less about golf until my dad passed away when I was 18, and I thought, I'll never ever go to a golf course again. And it took
Yeah.
until I was 29, 30 years old before my buddies were going to play all the time, and they were like, "Man, you got to come." I'm like, "Dude, I don't play golf, don't like golf, don't want to do nothing with golf." And so
Yeah.
finally, after 100 times of them asking me, I finally was like, "All right, dude, I'll go." So went one day, and brother, I left that golf course playing with the Jack Nicklaus clubs that I had from a kid, and went and bought a brand new set of clubs, not like expensive. I didn't go crazy and buy, like,
Yeah.
all QI 35s, but literally just fell in love with it, dude. And I have not got off the golf course since, man. Have
You
not got
won't.
off since.
You're stuck with it now until you die.
Yeah, and, I was actually looking to get into podcasting and content, and didn't have a lane or know what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
I'd actually started posting a few, like, video game clips of me playing PGA Tour, ball, Madden, NCAA,
Yeah.
and got into golf, and I started seeing all the golf content. The more and more that I talked and got into it, I'm seeing stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, I can do some stuff like this." So I just started doing it, and I've got better and met great people and
Yeah.
had guidance and help from some great people. And now, man, you would think that I've been in the game for a long time, as much stuff as I'm involved in and content and all that stuff. So, but I absolutely love it, dude. I'm in love with golf for sure.
Yeah. That's cool. Golf nerds are a special type of people, and I love and appreciate golf nerds
Yes,
wholeheartedly.
sir. Absolutely. Rev, what's your current handicap and what are you shooting these days? Like, what's your average score, you think?
Yeah, so my current I think the last time I checked, it was either a 10.8 or 11.1. I'm usually shooting anywhere from 78, 79 to a 89 or a 90. It just depends on my mood, if I stretched properly, if I took a warm shower before the round. No, we actually just so I'm involved in this out here in San Diego. It's called Happy Hour Golf Club. It's a group of, 45 or 50 dudes. You pay a $50 annual fee to join the club, and then we have two different tournaments every month, right? So there should be 24 throughout the year, and then one is a members only, and then another is a friendly, so you can invite people to come and play. And then we have 5 majors throughout the year. And we just had our first major at the year, which is called definitely not the Masters. It's to take on our Masters out at Coronado. And I started off well. I went on 1, 2, 3, 4. I went par, 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 par. Went OB on 5, took a double, and then I got in my head, which I shouldn't have done, and then so I went double, bogey, double, par, and then another, but I think to finish. And it's just one of the things that I'm struggling with is my golf game as a whole, it's okay. Like I can hang. I'm good off the tee with the driver. My long irons I struggle with the most. Inside 100 yards, I'm pretty good. I have really soft hands. In putting, I'm no longer really three putting anymore. It's more of like I'll leave it short and then just tap in. But yeah, I'm struggling with the 3-wood and I'm struggling with my long irons, and it's because I like to practice short game when I'm at the range, and I like to spend my time around the green. So my woods and my long irons don't get much practice, but I feel like I need to start working on those because that's what needs the improvement the most,
Yeah, absolutely. I
unfortunately.
think I think a lot of people struggle with the 3 wood, the long irons. I think that
Yeah.
that's a struggle for most of us. What's the best round that you've ever had, Rev?
I shot my best round last year was a 76, and it was actually at my home course, which is at Nagic. They hold a lot of PGA qualify, or not a lot of, but they hold some US qualifiers there for both the men and the women's and the Champions Tour. He's 6, but it was from the whites. Like, I don't think I'm good enough to be playing from the tips yet, just because of my distance. And to be honest, I want to play and have fun. I'm not trying to go out there and, join the tour. And I have the most fun playing from the whites. And I feel like golf should be played to have fun, especially with guys and gals like us. We're not going to be on the fucking tour. So let's just go have a good time and drink some beers.
Exactly.
That being said, play where you have the most fun. Don't care about who is going to laugh at you. If you want to play from the reds, play from the reds. If you want to play from the whites, play from the whites. Like, just go out there and have a good time.
I absolutely love that, man, because I tell people too, I'm like, look, dude, if you hit the ball 200 off the tee, you have no business playing the tips. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely no business. Like Cat Williams said it best. Somebody asked him, "Do you play from the tips?" And he said, "No, I play from the very forward tees." He said, "Somebody asked me, Cat, you want to play from back here?" He said, "Do I get anything extra from playing from back there?" No, absolutely not. I'm playing all the way up here in the front. He said, "When I'm on the golf course, I identify as a thee, they, them, she, him. It don't matter. I want the closest I can get." So I'm with him on that. But
Yeah.
I think that a lot of guys, man, they go out and they just have this mindset of wanting to play from the tips because that's what men are supposed to do. But really, the whites are actually the men's tees. The tips are technically the pro tees.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people just don't understand. Me personally, I think every clubhouse should have a if your handicap is from X to X, you need to play these tees, this and this tee. So that way it would speed up pace of play. You know, I see a lot of guys can't even get on off the tee box out there trying to play the blacks, and I'm like, bro, you
Yeah.
go up to the greens or something, go up to the whites
And
at
that's
least. Like,
and that's one of the issues you have with, like, growing the game. Like, we want everybody to be involved and play, but it's like, if that case, it's like pace of play is getting huge. It's always been a big deal, but now you're seeing, and that's where etiquette comes into play too. It's like, if you're thinking that you need to be playing from the very back, if you're not clearing any of the tee boxes, it's time to, move forward. But it also needs to be enforced by the pro shops. We need to have, signs before you tee off on number one. If these are your handicaps, this is the tee box you need to be playing from. I totally agree with that.
yep, absolutely. So I'll circle back to that first question I asked you, which was describe your golf game in one sentence.
Describe my golf game in one sentence. Perfectly chaotic yet justifiable with a fuck. No, it's hard. Don't edit this too, because I want people to see me stumbling around. I want people to cook me for, let's see. You know what? We'll just keep it. Whether the scores are high or low, the vibes will always be high.
So you're a vibe guy more than a competitive guy when it comes to the
A
golf course.
100%. 100%.
Love that.
Yeah, because when I start to play competitive, I just get like, I don't know, I start to make more mistakes because I'm overthinking everything. So if I just keep my attitude more of like a vibes and like happy go lucky and just chilling, I play better versus, all right, I'm gonna go out there and compete. Like, there's a different type of like keep the vibes that you can still lock in versus I'm gonna go and compete and lock in, because I play better when I'm just there to like goof around or just hang out, right? And that's something that I've learned over the years, because when I used to play, I would play really competitively and I would take it way too serious, to where I was the guy that would be smashing his iron because he hit it a little left, or he hit a little right, or it hit the wrong side of the green, to where I was the guy that like you really didn't want to like play with anymore, because it's like this guy, it's like, dude, you suck. You shouldn't be getting this mad. So I was like, you know what? I just need to take a step back and take a different approach, right? So now it's like, okay, let's just go out there and have fun, get a little sauced up if we have to, and if we make a couple pars and birdies while we're doing it, cool. So definitely a vibes guy, 100%.
I absolutely love that. So if I've got this right, you were working at FedEx as a FedEx carrier,
I
and from
was.
there you went to Sunday Golf. So
Yeah.
how did that transition happen, and how did that come about?
Yeah. So I guess we got to go back before FedEx. I was in hotels and restaurant management for like the previous 17 years. When we moved back from the Bay Area to San Diego, we found out that we were pregnant with my son Lincoln, or my wife was pregnant, whatever. We moved back to save up for a house. This was at the beginning of 2019. We moved back, and then we were trying to figure out my wife kept her job. Shout out, she's a mental health nurse for the VA. She does a lot. If you're military or veteran, thank you for your service.
Thank you to Rev's
She
wife.
Yes, thank you. She's a saint. So I went the restaurant group that I was working for found out I was back in town. They're like, "Yo, come back until you figure out what you want to do." So I came back and then COVID happened, right? While that happened, I was already in the process of figuring out if I what I wanted to do because now we have a son and I needed something more stable. The hospitality of the restaurant, the bars, it's late nights, it's long days. And then my brother-in-law, he's been at FedEx Express for 22 years. He's like, "Yo, I can probably get you in if it's something you're interested in." I was like, "Hell yeah, like I'm down to give it a go and see what it is." And I went in and absolutely fell in love with it. Like it was cool, man. Cause you go in, you work this sort, you load your truck and you go and run your route and you have very limited interactions with people. You're just out there chilling by all day by yourself. Like you control your banter of how you talk to your customers, right? So I loved all my customers, they were all great, but it was also nice finally just being by myself throughout the day. I'm not babysitting bartenders or servers. I'm not having to like talk to people because their fucking hamburger was made with bacon and didn't have to have bacon. It was cool. It was something different. Uh, but like I was there for 5 years and then the whole merger with Express and Ground is starting to happen. So it's no longer, it's FedEx 2.0. So it's Express used to be separate from Ground. Ground were contracted employees. Express, we had a lot of benefits and perks, right? Leading up to me leaving, there was a lot of, like in a relationship, you call them red flags. It's like, okay, well, like this is happening now. What is this going to be? And I told my wife, I was like, all this is going on. I think Lincoln's getting bigger. Like I'm going to start exploring hospitality jobs again, like getting back into hotels. And she's like, yeah, if that's something that you want, we'll definitely, we can figure that out. Right. Totally supportive. In the whole process of these 5 years, I started doing golf content, right? Sunday Golf was actually one of the first companies that reached out to me when I started doing golf content in like 2021. And they sent me a little Loma bag. And then throughout the years, I've just kept a great relationship with them, would always plug them, do videos for whenever they needed, great company. If you could pick a company that would fit like my personality and like the people that work there, it would be like, oh yeah, Sunday Golf, absolutely. Just kind of like through communicating, I was like, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm trying to leave FedEx and go back into hotels. And, they had an opportunity where I could come on board. So we went and talked and officially got hired last October. So it's pretty freaking cool.
So you've been working with them, or you've been working there at Sunday Golf since last October. You mentioned about you, starting to make content. They were the first company to reach out to you, which is super awesome. At what point did content creation come in for you and become like a serious thing that you did?
Great question. So when I was at FedEx, my first year, I would do these, what I would call Trader Joe's salad reviews in my FedEx truck. And I would only do them on TikTok. So I was getting a lot of feedback from like, yo, you're hilarious. The videos are funny. But I still go and look back at them, every so often because they're poorly edited, right? It's just funny to watch. While I was on TikTok, I'm seeing like a lot of like golf creators and people, doing their thing on the golf course or reviewing whatever. This was like 2021. And I was like, you know what? Like I can do content. I play a lot of golf. Like let's just try. Let's see what happens. So the first year I did it, first year and a half, it was like I was basically just posting stuff on TikTok. I wasn't ready for Instagram. I was like, you know what? Like Instagram to me was kind of like that's where like all the big dogs are at, right? Like the
Yep.
influencers and stuff. And then I was like, you know what? Like this is something that like I could see myself doing really well at. Like I need to give myself an opportunity. So at the beginning of 2024, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go all in and just do Instagram. I'm going to kind of put TikTok on the back burner and just go all in on Instagram. And really just worked on the kind of content I want to do, like what I wanted to focus on. But also like there was a lot of people that I could learn from too that were on Instagram, which was nice. So it's been fun. But when I made that switch from TikTok to solely Instagram, when I was like, I'm going all in on Instagram as like content creator, my wife, we actually had a talk. I was like, hey, this is something that I want to pursue. I think there's an opportunity, whether it be doing this full time or a job down the road. Like, I don't know. And she's like, I support you 100% as long as like you're still contributing as a husband, as a father. She's like, if anything ever comes between that, like if you start making this a priority and not us, then that's where we're going to have to like, talk or, figure something out.
Draw the line.
Percent, yeah, absolutely. And I would say like 95% was, it's been solid. And there was a couple times where she's like, hey, you kind of need to tone it down, or like put your phone down in the evenings a little bit more when we're home. So, just that little checking every so often to like kind of bring me back on. But I tell everybody, we're only successful as like our better half set us up to be and support us and everything. She's a rock star. She was actually, I just brought her on to do like all my taxes and my accounting stuff, my expenses for trips and golf and all that. So she crushed it. Yeah, it was a really good tax season for us too.
That's awesome. Dude, that is a super cool story. I've got a couple questions off that, but let's start with the most important one.
Yeah.
You're a husband, a dad, and a creator. I'm not a
Mhm.
dad, but I've got a fiance. I can't imagine if I had kids how I would do this.
Yeah.
How do you juggle all this?
You gotta just remember that like your main priority is to be a father and a husband first, and then if you have time to do some videos in the evening time or on the weekends, then that's when you do it. There's been so many nights where like I'm, a husband and father, and it's like, okay, they go to bed, it's like, all right, now let's fucking make some content. So I'll be up to 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning working on videos, and then when I was at FedEx, I'm up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning, or I'll make the videos and then I'll edit them the next day on the break. Like it's a grind. Like there's times where, creating content and editing videos, it's the equivalent as like a full-time job. Like
Yes.
what you want to get out with it is the same that you got to put into it. So it's something that like either you want to do it, you got to do it all the way, and you got to apply yourself, and you got to, take criticism. You're gonna have bad stuff. Not everything's gonna be a banger or a hit, right? But yeah, just having that balance and just really going into it and realize that like, the sleep is probably gonna be not that much, but sooner or later there's gonna be a payoff, right? There's gonna be a reward. Yeah.
What made you do that? No, to leave TikTok kind of behind, in other words.
I don't know. I met a lot of cool people on TikTok and doing TikTok stuff for sure. Some of them are still the homies. I looked at it as more of like okay, let me try this and get my feet wet. And if it sucks, all my family and friends aren't really on TikTok, right? They're more on Facebook or Instagram. And then it's like, okay, those are some little insecurities, but at the end of the day, it's like not that big of a deal. And then once I got in and got comfortable with it, and I saw that it was kind of trending, that I was kind of growing as a creator and had some opportunities come up, it's like, okay, well, I know that the real like the real deals and all that stuff are going to be on Facebook and Instagram, all of that stuff. So I was like, I'll just try this, and then if it doesn't go well, then I'll just come back to TikTok. And I just kind of stuck with Instagram, and now I'll do some stuff on TikTok. I'll throw some occasional videos on there. But yeah, most of my stuff is just on Instagram.
Love that. On your content, though, I see that you do like these creator reviews almost.
Yeah.
First of all, is that your favorite style of content to make? And then second, is that kind of your niche within the niche?
No, so that is something that I just started doing recently. Before this, a lot of my content has been like skits, comedy skits, whether it be on the course or in the house or in the garage. Some lifestyle skits, golf, like a lot of humor. My last series that I did was trading a golf tee up for a QI 35 driver. And then I was like, I need to figure out what I can do like consistently that doesn't take a lot of work, can, take me 5 or 10 20 minutes at the most to make, right? And I was like, man, I've met a lot of people in the golf space. You know, I've become friends with a lot of people over the last 2 years. And like everybody, I'm sure you're curious, like, what's that person really like? Or they like this or they like something else? And I can tell you for like 100% fact, every person that I review, have reviewed, and will review is a great person. And it's true. The premise of this is, if you've noticed, everybody gets a 9.6 or a 10, right? Because it's showing that like everybody's a good person. Like it's everybody that I've encountered with is great. And it's just me trying to be positive and, you know, like not all influencer creators should be looked at as like these fake people or ungenuine people, because they're pretty cool and they're pretty genuine, and you know they've been nothing but supportive of me when I've had questions or you know not sure about something, or like, oh man, anything related to golf content, anything. They're, yeah, what do you need, what can we do to help, I got you. So
That's amazing. I'm pretty sure that's how I found you is seen one of, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I seen one of those reviews as the first video that made me follow you. I know one of my
thanks for
favorite.
following, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the follow back, man.
Yeah, brother.
But I absolutely love those. I love watching those because, like you said, it kind of lets you know, like, hey, this guy that I like and watch and support and engage with is actually a
Yeah.
decent human being.
Yeah.
Like Shane, I think that's his name, Shane, right? That
Yeah.
does the what this says about your golf game or whatever.
Yeah.
I absolutely love his stuff. I'm actually
Yeah.
trying to get in his DMs.
Yeah.
But anyways, I seen that one, like, I love that. All of them that you've done is really, really cool, and you make some really, really great content. You're definitely a great creating mind. I was mentioning off air before, like, you work with Sunday. The video that you did with the Ring doorbell's absolutely incredible. Most
Yeah, man,
people that
thank
are
you.
watching this have probably seen it, so it's really cool. Let's talk about this real quick. You mentioned your son, his name's Lincoln. Absolutely incredible. I'm sure to become a dad. I haven't had the privilege yet, but I'm getting pushed towards it. What's
Do it.
changed in your life since having your son, and what did it change for Mr.
Man, this is a tough one. Great question. And I can honestly say that becoming a dad, and it could be different for everybody else, right? But becoming a dad for me, I've become way more of an emotional person. There's things that as a father or a parent that your child or your son will do will just automatically hit you right in the heart and you can't help but tear up. Um, and before that, before I even had a kid, I used to think that that was funny when a parent would be talking about something with their child and they just get so worked up and they start to cry. I just thought it was funny because I was like, dude, chill out. Now, like, my wife makes fun of me because she's like, hey, I need to tell you something about Lincoln, but I just want to prepare you. You're probably going to cry. So it's usually like something good that happened or something like that. But definitely become more emotional and then made me realize that like I need to be more careful of what I do and say in the presence of him because he's looking at me at everything I do. So I guess just more aware and more emotional. But honestly, having a son is like the best fucking thing in the world, especially now he's about to be 6. He always says, "I wanna go work at Sunday Golf," and then he's like, "This weekend, can we go play golf?" So last weekend, we went to Loma Club. It's this short little 9-hole course. It's got a really cool view of downtown San Diego, and me and him went out, and I think we probably only played, like, 2 or 3 holes, but he just likes to get out there and goof around. He'll play in the bunker, he'll rake. You know, Patrick Harrington said something really cool. I don't know if are you familiar with the Patrick Harrington video that he so Patrick Arrington, I'll send you the link. He's talking about like what you should do as a parent in your child in golf, right? And he says, I can't even say it like him, but he's saying, you know, when you're at the golf course, let them do whatever they want to do to have fun and let them enjoy it. And then when you're done, you know, cut the time off a little bit earlier while they're still having fun, and then go and grab like a soda or a Coke and just reflect, right? That way, they're gonna associate whatever they're doing at the golf course, that they're having fun and they're having fun with you, so then they're gonna want that more. The video is an amazing video. I'll have to send you the link. So every time like we're out there, I always think about the Patrick Harrington video. But yeah, being a dad is probably the greatest thing that the greatest gift that I've ever had, honestly.
Dude, you're gonna make me fucking cry, and, I don't even have a kid. Just thinking about,
You're good, man. My bad.
oh, you're good, brother. Yeah, sorry, brother.
You're good. No worries. Don't apologize. We're all
But
let it out, big fella.
I'm telling you, that's so true because I still remember moments from going to play with my dad, and I didn't even care about golf, could give a shit less. Told you, I'd play one hole and be done. But, like I remember one time we went out, he's gambling with his buddy, playing big money game, whatever. And both of them go up to the green, and I'm like 4 years old, dude, and I took off on the golf cart, thought it was the funniest thing, just left their asses and took off. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's things like that that I remember going out there and being outside with my dad and remembering those things. So I think that's awesome that you've got him out on the course, and I think that's something that he'll remember for a long time. And I'm sorry that I got choked up there, but it's just
No, man.
it just hit a little close to home, brother.
It is because I think, a lot of the guys are the same way, especially when it comes to something so personable and, you're talking golf and you're talking as a father and, it hits people differently just because it's more everybody's relationship with their fathers are differently. They wish they could have done things differently or like, oh man, if I could just have one more round or, something like
Yeah.
that. So it's all good, dude. Don't even.
I wish, now I wish that I would have took golf serious and played. Like nowadays, if my dad was here, I just think about like how much golf we'd be playing together now that I'm in love with it, like,
Yeah.
and things like that. So that's kind of where it struck. But anyways, let's get off the sad shit. Let's wrap this thing up. I'm gonna put you in the bunker here. We do something on the show every week with every guest called rapid fire from the bunker. So we're in the
Oh yeah.
bunker about to take a shot. I'm gonna read a series of quick fire questions. Just give me the first answer that comes to mind. Here we go. Favorite golf brand besides Sunday?
Favorite golf brand besides Sunday? Let's go Linksole.
Never heard of them.
Oh man, check them out.
What is that? Shoes?
No, they're clothing line. They're based out of Oceanside.
All right,
Linksole. They
cool.
have a really cool. They have a really cool slogan called "Make Par, Not War."
I love that. Love that.
Yeah,
Dream course to play.
Augusta National,
Come on, give me another one.
Pebble Beach.
Love that.
Actually, St. Andrews Old Course. Final answer.
Bingo. Love that a lot. Scramble partner, pick one.
Tiger Woods.
Great answer. Beer or transfusion on the course?
Transfusion.
Great answer again. Walk or ride
Ride.
every day? Music or no music while playing?
Music.
Couple more for you. One club you cannot live without.
7-iron.
Great choice. One thing you'd fix about your golf game instantly.
My grip.
Okay, that's a good one.
It's something
What
that I've
is
been trying to change.
okay, all right. What's the course that you've played that's been your favorite so far?
Paynes Valley.
Lucky dog. That's on the bucket list for me.
You
Well,
have
he's
to go.
officially made it out of the bunker. How was Paynes Valley? When did you go?
We went 2 years ago, 2024. We went and stayed at Big Cedar Lodge. So my wife and I started back in 2018. We started a Major League Baseball stadium crawl where we're trying to see every Major League stadium in the United States.
Yeah.
So when we were
You got one of
doing
them maps or the books or whatever?
I do. I have one in my garage hanging up. My wife got me a custom made one, and I actually I'll send you a photo when we're done. I buy a hat at every stadium representing the home team. I'll wear it there, and then I'll hang it up.
That's
But
awesome.
we did 6 stadiums out there in like the Midwest, and I was like, if we're gonna be there, let's just stay at Big Cedar Lodge. It's like a family resort. It's perfect for everybody, and then I'll play Paynes Valley. And so, yeah, it was cool. It was actually phenomenal. I want to go back. I want to go back with the guys and play some of the other courses. But yeah, it was a good time for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely have that on the bucket list. Probably a 2027 trip, but I'm
Yeah.
super excited. I'll put all your links and stuff down in the description wherever you're getting this podcast, but go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you and follow the journey.
All right, man. You can find me at Rev __Mac. on Instagram and TikTok. I would appreciate the follow. If you're looking for some funny content or you're curious about creators, let me know. And Mr. Josh, thank you for having me, man. It's been cool. It's been fun. And I apologize for making you cry there, big fella.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on, man. It means a lot. Everybody that I've had on the show, I've literally got through either knowing them or just sending them a message on Instagram. So I'm thankful for everybody that's came on, but I was really, really looking forward to this one. It's been a great episode. Last one for you. What's next for Rev Mac? What can people expect? Content, golf, life? What are we thinking?
Yeah, we're gonna continue to keep pumping some content for sure. We're gonna roll with the rating followers, and then we're probably gonna get into some brands, reviewing some brands.
Yeah.
Professionally, make sure you're following me and the company I work for, Sunday Golf. It's a really great company. I can't speak highly enough about them. Plus, we offer really good product. We have accessories, and we got some cool stuff coming up with them. As far as Rev Mac, we got some fun golf courses that we're checking out this year. And we got some fun trips that I'm coming on here actually in a couple weeks. We're heading down south to Georgia into South Carolina for a week.
Rev, it's been a great show. Ordained, certified, and now officially out of the bunker. Rev Mac. Lincoln's gonna make an appearance at the end. What's up, Lincoln? How you doing, buddy?
Say, how you doing, sir?
How you doing, sir? What's his
I'm doing
name?
well, thank
His
you.
name is Josh.
Josh.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
name's Josh too, just like your dad.
His name is Josh too.
Why?
Why? Because he wants to have that
I-
name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
But
you
we're
like
just
the rubber
finished.
ducks?
You like his rubber ducks? They
Yeah,
go
I
squeak,
think-
squeak,